With the nation being so divided when it comes to politics, it appears that many faiths are becoming more united. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is hosting the Traveling Tabernacle in St. George over the next month to let people see what's inside.
This is a replica of the ancient tabernacle in Jerusalem that is just incredibly good place to come and see what it was like there and be able to be presented with the story of what was actually there in those days. We've had about 2,000 already come through here. And the guides, especially the guides who are here to take you through this experience here, are youth and older people. It's geared toward the whole family. The tour begins with a short video, which is really interesting. It's about 10 minutes long, and it sets the tone for what you're about to see.
A closer look at each space of the tabernacle reveals more about the symbolic journey heavenward.
According to Jewish history, a portable sanctuary like this was used in the deserts of Israel to bring those tribes of faith together for worship. In the Old Testament, Moses was instructed to build this by God.
The camp of Israel is basically the outer circle of the tabernacle. The people would put up their tents all around it, and then only the priests were able to go inside of it. But while they were pointing their tents towards the tabernacle, it's basically symbolizing that they would turn their hearts to God and that it should be the center of our lives.
An estimated 500 volunteers will help cover the tour days. Most of them are youth.
I'm in charge of the tabernacle gate, which you see behind me, and we talk about how there's 4 colors shown. We have scarlet, which represents the blood of Christ. We got blue, which represents heaven. We have white, which represents purity, and we have purple that represents royalty. I think it's cool to see what the Israelites had to do. They had to set up the tabernacle and they had to take it down for 40 years, and how much dedication it would have been to create it in the first place and how much effort, and it proved how much they really cared about God.
The gate on the east wall is the only entrance into the tabernacle's outer courtyard. Displays used within its structure point out ancient rich symbolism used back in the day, including burnt offerings and sacrifices at an altar made to the Savior.
This is the outer courtyard of the tabernacle. Here is the altar, and beyond that is where they are washed their hands and their feet, preparatory to entering into the tabernacle.
Before entering the inside of the tent or tabernacle, officiating priests had to wash in a brass basin or laver. This represented the washing of souls from sin, similar to baptism.
This room, the first room in the tabernacle, is the holy place. And there are 3 sacred items within the holy place that we describe to the visitors that come. This is the table of shewbread, where we have 12 loaves of unleavened bread, along with a pitcher of wine, and the 12 loaves of bread represent the 12 tribes of Israel. There's many symbolic things that this also represents, specifically that of the sacrament. And the candlestick is symbolic of many things. There's 7 candles, and that would represent the 7 creative periods. It's also representative of the tree of life. And if you think of the main trunk is the Lord supporting the us as the branches, and it was lit with olive oil and was meant to be kept lit continually. This third item within the holy place is the altar of incense, and it was to be kept lit continually. And so the priests would keep the incense burning, and as the smoke rose up to heaven, it represents our prayers rising to heaven and the need for us to pray continually.
And the linen veil separates the holy place from the Holy of Holies.
Behind the curtains is the Holy of Holies, and the curtains are symbolic with the scarlet, the blue, and the purple. The cherubims on the side curtains are to guard the Holy of Holies.
And only high priests were allowed to enter this final room, or the Holy of Holies, on the Day of Atonement. In the center is the Ark of the Covenant, where the law of stone tablets or 10 Commandments are stored. This represents obedience to God's laws.
The tablets are the remains of the 10 Commandments, and they were broken, but the Lord wrote them with his finger on Mount Sinai and gave them to Moses.
Those who toured the traveling tabernacle say it was enlightening.
It was nice to see an actual replica. I mean, you read about it in the scriptures, but to actually see a representation physically makes it more understandable.
I don't know. They believe in the Messiah, but they don't believe that Christ was the Messiah. I wonder if they would find the same kind of messianic symbolism that was pointed out to us in these same artifacts.
I liked, the symbolism of the sacrifice and the unblemished lamb and all those kind of things. I love the cherubim and their protection. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. It was really cool.
The tabernacle moved with the people during the 40 years to kind of keep them remembering the coming of Christ, that he would come, that Jehovah would come. So it was really good. It gave you a warm feeling in your heart. Yeah.
We have people from all over Utah so far. This morning, some people from Idaho and from Montana have already come through here. They're visiting here from the north, and they heard about it and come in here. And it's only about an hour to go through here.
The last stop on this tabernacle tour is this beautiful visitor center. And we welcome people of all faiths and all religions to come and learn and see more about the tabernacle and to feel the spirit that is here. For more information, you can go to tabernacle2022.com.
The traveling tabernacle will be on display through December 13th. It will then be set up again in March in Cedar City. In St. George, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.